Oh boy, here we are again. Um, Sunday morning, November 23rd, 2025. Can't sleep. Yeah, our cat got sick and woke up at like 6 in the morning, and then brain was spinning. But I guess I want to talk about the state of everything, the state of how I'm feeling, where I think I'm going, and how I sort of landed here, I guess. It's not much has changed. Maybe the fire has just ignited more. I think that I've just done so much work on myself that it's feels as if it's finally like coming to a head. That there's so many shifts happening in my life, and that I am no longer I'm no longer putting up with things, I guess. I'm putting up boundaries, if anything. But I kind of want to talk about, the journey that led up to this, and then the frustration with the current things as they are, especially in our environment in the US, which is just a constant ongoing thing to deal with. But, when I was growing up, I was very much on the computer, and we being born in 1993, like we just kind of just how we transitions are luckily my parents could afford me a computer, and I remember being on like all different, like playing RuneScape and getting like bootleg versions of Photoshop, and like my creativity growing from there, and also going on YouTube, making videos, all that sort of stuff. I think the flip side to it all is how the internet shaped me and shaped my mental health. And I think that an important part of my story was going on AIM chat rooms, and then, dealing with creepy people on there. And, for a while I was like preyed upon on AIM, which was AOL Instant Messenger, and sort of groomed on there. And I think that's of course, like a difficult part of my story. But I think the point being is it shaped my life into something that then I had to face later on. And that came in the form of, ultimately therapy, ultimately facing myself, facing the pain, the abuse, the like power that was behind all of that. And then like for a long time, I mean literally up till like last year, I was like diagnosing myself sort of, and diagnosing and treating myself for bipolar 2. But what I've come to realize is I don't have the symptoms of that. If anything, I'm a highly sensitive human being who gets bursts of creative energy. It's like the just how my cycle rolls. It's like, but like for the longest time, I thought that my creative energy flow was me being manic. And then when I would burn out, I thought that was my, depression period. But I lived that for so long, and I even treated that with medication and like with therapy. But nobody ever sort of told me to look at my sensitivities to things. Honestly, not until I met Anna, my partner now. And I mean, I had questioned it like kind of right before I was like probably right before I met Anna. I mean, I had gotten off of medication because it's just like destroyed my creative nature and destroyed made me feel like crap, gave me stomach issues, killed my sex drive, all these sorts of things that we just sort of accept, like we're supposed to accept. So I think that this leads to a further thing, which is what I've been discussing, also seeing lately more clearly, is, power and abuse in our world. And, so I've been working more in like these corporate situations, and I see how people interact with each other. But even a step before that, the companies that hire these people that do things similarly to me. And I've just heard horror stories of the inability to handle emotion and to even be abusive in the emotional sense, but like leading to even things of like violence and that sort of stuff. And then it starts to really bum me out because some of these people who I've looked up to as like maybe like leaders in an industry are not as they seem. So I guess the veil is being lifted on a lot of things, and I think there's a bit of grief within that, because I thought that maybe I thought for the longest time that if you do the right thing, good things will come to you, and it will all work out, right, in the end. But then I see that these people who have power actually have power because they mistreat people and because people are afraid of them. And that, then there's the other side of that, where that just starts to make me angry. I mean, I feel really bitter towards people. And so I think that from that, all of those points, what I'm getting at even further is what I've also talked about before, is just people not processing their pain, their trauma, all of this sort of stuff that then gets passed on to other people because maybe they were never taught, or maybe maybe they're just not taking responsibility for their own self, But it just perpetuates an abuse cycle, because say that you are that boss, or you're that boss, but you're also a father, or you're also somebody people look up to, and you act that way. Now, I'm not excusing myself. I've acted in ways I'm not proud of, but I feel as if I've corrected that and I've gotten a lot better at controlling my emotions and seeing people. But I look at the power grab that's happening in government, and I also see like, man, like my parents' generation, and they're like the people in that space, whether it's their friends or family or whatever. And it's like these people are just in so much pain and they can't face it. And instead they project it outwards, and that there's just so much hate there. It's like so, like, clearly right now detrimental to society. And I have traveled enough to see that there's more out there, to see that there are better areas and better environments to be in. Because I've also been having this conversation with my parents, being like, yeah, I'm gonna get up and go, and I'm gonna do my thing. And I can just hear the fear within them about me deciding to go somewhere. Like, it's like, well, what if it's not safe? It's like, all I've been seeing here in the US is like, oh my God, like people just, like, I mean, I got in a car accident because I think the kid was distracted, and then uh, all I see while driving is people just texting and driving, or driving like crazy, like aggressive, right behind people, so dangerously. And I think we're just like hitting this like peak capacity in society, and it's it's scary, because I don't think this is normal, but no one is doing anything about it. They're not facing the mental health crisis, and there's not even enough resources to face the mental health crisis. So imagine, okay, like our parents, maybe their parents, um, were coping with war and whatever, drinking, physical abuse, all this sort of stuff. Then they have to manage that, and then it gets passed down through generation to generation. And all I hear, and what I've heard the general consensus be between, I guess it would be boomers, is like, I don't need therapy, like, you know, we're strong. It's like, if we were strong, we would not be here right now. If you were strong, we would not be all suffering collectively. We would be making sound decisions and not putting the person who's in office, and not being worried about children and people suffering because of war over religion. Like, where have we gone? And so, I don't know. I know that there's better places out there than this. That there's safer communities, more wholesome communities where people take care of each other. And life is more enjoyable than what we're dealing with here. So those are my thoughts. And yeah, I hope hopefully I got some thoughts rolling for you guys too. And and I'll catch you the next time.